watching the News Hour Special Edition.
Welcome back. Moving on to the other big story that we're debating now. A controversy has erupted after noted actor and filmmaker Amol Palekar was stopped from making his speech at the inauguration of an art exhibition in Mumbai. Palekar was critical of the Ministry of Culture for allegedly scrapping the advisory committees at National Gallery of Modern Art. While the organizers claim Palekar chose the wrong occasion and platform to air his views, the Congress has alleged that the Palekar episode underlines the latest attack on institutions.
Filmmaker and actor Amol Palekar triggering a controversy by questioning the government policy on the exhibitions at the National Gallery of Modern Art.
On 13th November, another disastrous decision was apparently taken, namely all future exhibitions. Sorry?
Sir, this is not needed at this moment, I'm sorry.
What is it?
We have to, the function is about Prabhakar Barve, we just stick to that, I'm sorry.
Yes, I am relating to Prabhakar Barve only.
This is, I'm sorry sir, you'll have to stop this.
Are you asking me not to speak? You have invited me to speak.
I've invited to speak of Barve, Prabhakar Barve sir.
Recently, I'll just remind, most of you may be knowing this incident. Nayantara Sehgal was invited to speak, and at last minute that invitation was withdrawn because what she was going to speak was slightly critical of the situation around us. Are we creating the same situation here? You're
No,
asking
sir.
me not to speak?
No.
I will not speak.
Amol Palekar had to cut his speech short after he was disrupted by fellow members on the dais. But after some time, the actor again got into a confrontation.
We did raise all our concerns, and despite that, you should appreciate that this is the National Gallery of Modern Art, a government gallery, sir.
Yes.
So you would perhaps
and what I was not allowed to read out.
No, sir.
I was thanking the Ministry
sir.
of Culture for this magnanimity.
No, sir. I don't take this backhanded compliment at all. Thank you so much.
The face-off between Amol Palekar and organizers happened when the actor was delivering a speech at an exhibition on the works of artist Prabhakar Barve.
When he started talking about these issues, I felt, and I didn't stop him, I told him, Amol, please, we want to listen about Barve.
I don't think this is a curbing of expression, because he expressed what he had to express. He did say it. Okay. And then when he was going into details, I requested him that, sir, just come back to the topic.
While the organizers are denying they stopped Palekar from expressing his views, a political fight has broken out.
कई चीजें इस देश में हो रही हैं जो पहले कभी नहीं हुई. अमोल पालेकर को बोलने नहीं देते लोग. जो बुनियादी संस्थाएं उसको खत्म करने जा रहे हो, तो उसका नतीजा हम सब भुगतेंगे, हमारे बच्चे और हमारे ग्रैंडचिल्ड्रन भुगतेंगे.
Yet government's ally, the JDU, has appealed to both sides to hear each other.
अमोल पालेकर की राय अपनी हो सकती है, उन्हें उसे रखने का पूरा हक है. उनके विरोध में जिनका मत है, उन्हें भी अपने राय रखने का हक है. एक दूसरे को सुनने की क्षमता बढ़ाने की जरूरत है.
But the jury is out on whether Amol Palekar was voicing genuine concern or just stirring a storm in a teacup. Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Well, all our guests continue to be with us. Syed Zafar Islam, Karan Bhasin, Ashutosh Mishra, Dr. Garga Chatterjee, Suneet Chopra. Once again, good evening. Thank you for staying with us. Let me go across to Syed Zafar Islam. Mr. Islam, the charge against your government is that because Mr. Amol Palekar was criticizing certain decisions taken by the Ministry of Culture, he was stopped midway. Can your government not take criticism, sir?
See, you have to criticize the government from an appropriate forum. this forum may not be the right forum to criticize the government, and government, you can criticize, as a citizen you can criticize the government, but the problem in this country, Swati ji, that there is a level of intolerance, and this intolerance has come from these kind of people who actually demonstrate, they enjoy all the benefit, but they say that there is a level of intolerance.
So what do you mean by these kind of people? He's a celebrated actor, sir.
Celebrities, like for instance,
no, what do you mean by these kind of people?
A video of Nasiruddin Shah.
No, what do you mean by these kind of people? Even if you're talking about Nasiruddin Shah, he had a point of view.
Okay, if you want to
he had a point of
define
view.
Me, who are these people?
No, he had a point of view. Nasiruddin Shah, Amol Palekar have a point of view. Are celebrated artists in this country, can they not express their opinion, even if it means that they are criticizing the government?
Every day people are expressing their opinion, but if you have a malefied intent, and if you are purposely doing something to create friction, like what Nasiruddin Shah has done, like what Nayantara Sehgal had initiated the award Wapsi brigade. So all these three people have certain intent, and intent
okay,
is
so you are saying if somebody questions the government, they have some malefied intention. Ashutosh Mishra, can Amol Palekar not question a decision taken by the Ministry of Culture that affects the institution where he was addressing a keynote? Okay, Ashutosh Mishra is giving you a counter now.
The problem here is that Amol Palekar belongs to the old school of thought.
What is the counter? Does he know that
you have to listen to know what the counter is, please listen to him.
Now, any dictatorial government, what it first tries to do is silence its writers, artists and intellectuals, which we are seeing. And just to extend what Mr. Islam's example, where his thought, he comes from the Amit Shah school of thought, who tell that Yashwant Sinha and Arun Shouria are speaking against them because unko naukari nahi mili. Because he used the word these people have enjoyed all sort of benefits. So just because he has been part of a committee which is government sponsored, does it mean that he has to only praise the government? Now today the problem is that if you speak against BJP or government, it becomes a sin. That immediately paints you as anti-democratic, and you might even be termed an urban Naxal tomorrow. That is the problem that we are seeing. This freedom of expression should be there. What does he mean by saying that they have enjoyed everything? Amol Palekar and Nasiruddin Shah have worked
not that any party, any of my party members is making that statement against you. Rahul Gandhi is making every day that statement. So many people are making
okay, let me also bring in other panelists. Let me also bring in other panelists, Karan Basin. So because you have viewpoints, okay, so because you have viewpoints that don't match with the government's viewpoints, you will be silenced. Is that the culture? Is that the culture that we are following in this country? Karan Basin, come in.
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you this, I see people criticize the government and disagree with their opinion on a daily basis. So much so that on many occasions even I haven't, gone by what the government has done, and I have also criticized them on very legitimate grounds. The point is, criticism has to be legitimate and it has to be done at the appropriate place. Tomorrow if I go to a conference of biology and give a lecture on economics, the panel is bound to ask me to go back to the topic itself or the conference issue itself.
Was talking about
this isn't as big an issue as it is being made out by the people of the opposition, and this isn't as big an issue.
He was speaking the right thing at the right place. He was not speaking.
No, sir. If he wanted to voice his dissent with it, in fact, people who were on the panel have said that they would have liked to discuss this in private with them.
Okay, no, but what I want to ask here is, Dr. Garga Chatterjee, what is important? What is more important? What Amol Palekar highlighted or where he spoke about it?
See,
no, it's important.
No, Garga Chatterjee se sawal tha, please let him answer. No, the question is for Garga Chatterjee, please, Karan, please.
To malign the government.
No, the question is for Garga Chatterjee, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We belong to a republic whose guiding principle is Shotyameva Jayate, or truth always prevails. Now, truth has to be spoken. Whether what is being spoken is the truth or not, or whether it is the right forum or not, or relevant or not, is for the people to judge while listening. not for the people on stage. And I think the endorsement of what has been spoken by Amol Palekar was given by the long and thunderous applause by the people. Freedom of speech is only relevant. So when I allow freedom of speech, when I say that it is only relevant when I allow freedom of speech that I do not like. You know, if you have such brittle egos, small men with such brittle egos, and you think that Amol Palekar is some, you know, two-penny actor, you will end up with actors like Gajendra Chauhan or Narendra
Garga
Modi.
Chatterjee, as a political analyst, would you not agree with me that time and again, governments have used their might and their power to curb freedom of expression, irrespective of BJP, TMC, Congress?
Yes, this is true that in the union government, freedom of speech has been curbed. Having said that, we are discussing in 2019 a specific case, and there is a specific incumbent government called the BJP. Okay.
No, but then what about state governments acting? What about state governments? No, why only point fingers at the union government? What about the state governments?
Because it has the most resources. Because it has the most resources, because it has the most coercive.
What about Asim Trivedi?
Because it has everything in its control.
What about Asim Trivedi? What about a cartoonist in Tamil Nadu named Bala? Why were the governments not tolerant with their viewpoints? Just because the government did not like their freedom of expressing, an action was taken against them.
Very important question. Very important question. What about Asim Trivedi? What about Asim Trivedi was decided in 2014, and what about Amol Palekar will be decided in 2019?
Absolutely. But you did not answer my question. Why point fingers only at the union government? Aren't the state governments also responsible? Aren't the state governments also responsible? It's not just about one party, though of course the question is, can the BJP not take criticism? Let me bring in Sumit Chopra also. Sumit Chopra, now, you know, the BJP is saying that that was not the right place or the right forum for Amol Palekar to be highlighting those issues. But he was only talking about a decision taken by the Ministry of Culture that indeed was affecting the institution.
Obviously. And the BJP is actually creating a situation where they created a confrontation over an issue that didn't require it. These are people who create a situation and then they blame you, saying that these are award wapsi, these are
Mr.
this,
Sunit
these
Chopra,
are that. The BJP actually
award
gave an award
warranted
to a rioter. And he was given a Padma Award for the Kashtan's riot.
Tell me, I'm asking a very simple question. And why all of a sudden
he was given an award
people started
for being in a riot?
Their awards? Why?
No, but the point is not why people started. The point is not why people started returning the award. My point is, if somebody does not agree with your viewpoint, are you going to stop them from expressing? Are you going to stop them from expressing a viewpoint which is different than yours? Are you going to put restrictions on them? Are you going to curb? Are you going to curb their freedom of right? You know, one second, Zafar Islam. Are you then going to curb their right to express themselves?
See, Swati ji, as far as freedom of expression is concerned, you have absolute freedom of expression here. Nobody is stopping anyone in expressing their opinion. They are free to do that. Nobody is obstructing him. But
could we see that?
There is also a limit in which, within that limit,
she was telling Mr. Amol Palekar to shut up.
Ensure that they are not crossing that limit.
Irrespective of BJP, Congress, whichever government is there, freedom of expression should be sacrosanct.
Absolutely, that's an important point. That's an important point you make, Ashutosh Mishra. I'll come back on that same point and go across to all the guests after a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. All our guests continue to be with us. Right before we took a break, Ashutosh Mishra was making a very, very important point. Let me bring in Karan Bhasin on that. Karan Bhasin, I think, you know, today one should accept it that irrespective of which party is in power, whether in the center or in the state, everybody has misused their position of power sometime or the other.
No, to some extent, I do agree with you that most governments have tried to curb freedom of expression. But having said that, this entire narrative that the present government is completely intolerant towards any criticism of it is completely ill-founded, devoid of facts, and reeks of their political bias. Because I can tell you and I can vouch for it that this government is the most criticized government. It is criticized by intellectuals.
No, it's not about being criticized. It's about taking that criticism well. Karan Bhasin, there's a difference. It's not about being criticized. It's about taking it well. And there are instances that are suggesting that it's not going down well.
It's how people who criticize are punished. That's what we are talking about.
No, but that isn't the case, sir. That isn't the case. If you are legitimately criticizing the government on valid grounds, I don't recall anyone
who decides what is legitimate.
No, what is legitimately criticizing?
If I must say,
no, what is legitimately criticizing?
Under section 66A, which is the IT Act, you guys in fact arrested even teenagers when they were
Mr. Bhasin, we have already said Congress and BJP, whichever party is there, if they are trying to curb freedom of expression,
and that's why I gave specific examples. That's why I spoke about cartoonist Asim Trivedi and cartoonist Bala. That's why I gave specific examples, Karan Bhasin. As far as the IT Act,
I'm saying it has improved. This government does not.
Swati ji.
That's what I'm saying. This government does not arrest people for dissent.
Can I just come in?
Even a bureaucrat is telling Mr. Amol Palekar to shut up. What else do you want? The bureaucrats are so afraid.
Zafar Islam respond.
Come in, please, Swati ji.
Yeah, Zafar Islam respond. And then Garga Chatterjee. First Zafar Islam, then Garga Chatterjee.
Swati ji, see, freedom of expression is something which the Constitution provides to every citizen. And every citizen is enjoying here. But when it is done with a malified intent, as we have seen in the past, since 2014, all this has happened suddenly after 2014 when the BJP government is in power. Earlier than, they never objected to it, they never made this kind of observation despite everything was happening in front of their eyes.
Specifically talking about Amol Palekar here, what is the problem if he is questioning that particular decision of the ministry?
And on whose behest they are doing it?
Where does that come in from?
Why are you
where does that come in from? How can you explain a malified intention? How can you explain a malified intention behind what Amol Palekar has said?
There is a political party who has been in power for long. These people were the beneficiary, and today they feel that it's a time to repay their debt. And in the time,
Mr. Islam, I think you are going completely off track. No, I think you are going completely off track. I think you are going completely off track on that, and that's a personal attack. No, that's a personal attack. You are going completely off track. Garga Chatterjee wants to come in quickly. Garga Chatterjee, before I wrap up, sir, quickly.
He starts only before the election and ends after the election results are out.
This is not related to election. This is not a political. This was not a political issue. Come on. Yes, Garga Chatterjee.
They make it a political issue.
Here is the thing.
They purposely make it a political issue.
Okay, let Garga Chatterjee finish.
See, the basic idea is freedom of speech, and issue of whether the speech is legitimate criticism or not. The question is who decides. Forget freedom of speech at this point of time. Who decides? A person was the keynote speaker. He was to set the keynote of this debate. We are now living in a situation where even most of the Vajpayee cabinet cannot speak. Most of them now have been outside of the party. Advani does not speak. Yashwant Sinha has been out. Now he speaks. Shatrughan Sinha, he speaks and he is considered a pariah. Okay, it's a huge systemic rot. Only one person speaks. His Man Ki Baat. And we have to listen to this actor. This is a very sad scenario. When the actor in the house is the Prime Minister and Amol Palekar is considered a random person, we have a huge crisis of freedom of speech in this country.
A huge crisis, says Garga Chatterjee. Sumit Chopra, your closing remarks before I wrap up, sir, quickly.
I agree entirely with Garga Chatterjee, and I would only like to say one thing. We should remember what Voltaire said. He said that I may disagree with you, but I will fight to the death for your right to say what you will.
Zafar Islam, is the government doing that?
And I would stand by that. I may disagree, but the right should be there.
See,
I would always do that.
They should introspect. Swati ji, I must suggest the opposition parties to introspect what they are up to. Why they are criticizing the government and making false allegations time and again, something which they cannot substantiate. They have the freedom of speech, that's why they are able to do it. Had they not been enjoying the freedom of speech, they would have been behind the bar by now.
You should have people
also,
who
you
can
know,
criticize
when the government really cannot take criticism, why is that through various forums the government wants to know what the people of the country want? Why is it then important if you don't want to hear criticism? Because when you ask for feedbacks, there are going to be good things along with criticism that one should take well. On that note, I am wrapping up the debate, thanking all the guests. Thank you very much for your time.